Thanks for joining us for our daily grind session. We have been doing this session at STN since about the second convention in the early 2000s. We appreciate being able to talk about what we do and hear about your broadcasts. Our hope is that you will join us in a Zoom session right after this video workshop. We would love to hear about your programs and be happy to answer any questions you might have. Now, we are a daily live broadcast from Carlsbad, California, and our daily live program reaches about 2,500 students and staff using a technology called Wowza to send out our show to classroom smartboards using the school's network.
Even though we've been in distance learning since last March, collectively CHS-TV has made the decision to do everything we can to stay on the air live daily. We've been doing this through a system called Degero along with WebEx platforms and a really fast gaming laptop. Now, the format of this workshop will be like this. Each of us will share a component of our show, which then most of the time will be followed by a video clip to give you a visual representation of what we're describing. Now, about 10 years ago, Carlsbad High School was rebuilt, and along with it came a new CHS-TV studio. Now, this was built by one of the top set designers in the country, who also happened to be a CHS graduate of the 1970s. Broadcast Design International has designed some of the top TV news network studios, including those for CBS Evening News, CNN, and over 300 other top TV news networks.
Our first short video is a tour of our studio.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Beekman, and I'm here to give you a very brief overview of our studio facility. We begin each morning here in the newsroom, where we discuss previous broadcasts, current broadcasts, events that we may be covering, and anything else relevant to the program. The studio is equipped with a full editing lab. Each computer contains Final Cut X in the Adobe Production Suite. Students can use these computers to edit their stories, research, find upcoming events, and much more. Helping students produce their best work, the newsroom is furnished with 4 completely soundproof editing bays. These are perfect for editing stories and recording voiceovers. As our program grows, so is the need for equipment. On any given night, we can have up to 12 teams of students out producing stories. So this room might get pretty hectic during the period as students are trying to check out cameras. This is the mechanical heart and soul of our program, the control room. We have TriCaster number 1, used for rolling in stories during the live show, TriCaster number 2, used for switching, and each camera in the studio has its own dedicated graphics machine, as well as our audio mixer. All in all, it takes about 10 students to engineer the broadcast, and yes, it gets pretty busy. But hey, the way we see it, it's the most important room in the house. We are really grateful for our studio. It measures to be about 900 square feet with an 18-foot ceiling and a lighting grid that drops to about 14 feet. We run the show with 3 cameras on dolly wheels and have an additional camera on our crane. Our newest addition to the live program is a system that we modified. We call it our Flycam. This camera is operated on a 3-axis gimbal, and the shots are dynamic and fluid. As much as we appreciate our studio, that's not what makes a student broadcast compelling. The heart and soul of a high school broadcast comes from great storytelling and the dedication of the students and the staff. And that is the topic of today's workshop.
Hi, I'm Natalia Avalos, and I'm a senior, and I've been in this program for about 6 years now. Our goal this morning is to share some strategies that we use to keep our daily live broadcasts compelling and interesting to all of our audience. We know that the morning announcements can get pretty boring, but a daily show can be so much better when you offer your audience more than just those boring announcements every day. Our theme for today is to keep your show important. If you can make your broadcast a vital part of your school day and school culture, we feel that the program will have a greater buy-in with the staff and students who are watching your show. Our program, CHS TV, is primarily run by the students, and after our 30-minute morning meeting, Mr. Green turns over the show to us, the students, and we begin preparing the live broadcast. Essentially, we build the entire broadcast from scratch every morning. This short video will explain how we set up each morning before breaking off to prepare for the show.
Before we get to this moment, the moment where we all get together and create a masterpiece. The masterpiece being a 12-minute show every day without fail. How do we do it? Welcome to our program.
90% of the students in this class started as middle schoolers. So they begin in middle school doing weekly shows, in some cases daily shows. So by the time they get to the high school, they're pretty good at this. And it's totally student driven, it's their show. I don't think people realize that at 7:30 we don't have a broadcast. We have a meeting for about a half an hour, and then they have 1 hour to put together a program from scratch.
With Mr. Green here to guide us, we also have student producers here every morning, dedicating themselves to have a successful show.
At 7:30 we come into the classroom and Mr. Green has a meeting with us and he'll tell us any news or anything that we need to know, and then we'll go through our rundown with him just to make sure that we have everything we need. And during that rundown we have certain people who are designated to be live each day, and so out of those I need to decide who goes live with which guest. And after that Mr. Green pulls popsicle sticks to determine who has what job. And as people decide what job they want to do for that day, I'll write them up on the board so everyone knows which ones have already been taken.
Roughly about every 3 weeks, we have a hard deadline for packages or stories on people at Crossbody High School or students that are involved in sports or activities. So we kind of showcase their talent on air. So every 3 weeks when we have the turn-in package day, I'm the content producer, so I basically kind of overlook the stories and give it a grade.
From making packages to preparing for shows, it takes hard work and dedication. From behind the scenes, I'm John Zakara.
Hi, my name is Eli Benson. I'm a senior at CHS TV. In our daily live shows, we like to employ the rule of 6. For our 12-minute shows, they can get a little long, so we try to keep it interesting with one story, Magic Window Live, a Lightcraft Live, 2 more live segments, and then we also end with a live tease. With this much live content, we need a big staff. We'll have 7 people live each day, and everybody in this program does everything. So you'll really never know what you're doing. It's really cool. We all get to experience new things, find our niche, just really see what we like to do. For stories, we use a quota system where we'll have a story due with a partner every 3 weeks. So this is a pretty quick turnaround time. Usually you'll have 2 weeks to film, find your story, and then another week to edit. And students pitch these stories to content producers who will then decide what goes on the show. Now I'm going to send it over to Gabby.
Hi, I'm Gabby Nelms and I'm a senior in the program. Our program is quite a big one, and so we have lots of opportunities for people to gain leadership experience. We probably have 20 different producer positions, from executive producer at the top to entry-level producer positions like club producers and individual sports season producers. One of the most challenging producer positions is the content producer. They approve our story ideas after reading the pitch sheets that we turn in. They actually grade the stories as they are turned in on a 3-week deadline. Ultimately, our teacher gives our work a final grade, but the content producer acts as a screener as the stories are turned in. As a program, we produce about 400 stories each year, and about 170 will make air.
It's ready to rip.
I feel like the 2-shot of them, it definitely shows them in their character interacting, but I wish
it's a little distracting.
Yeah,
just especially because he's not
talking
in the
and he's
position.
not paying attention.
I like to play the drum.
Okay, so what do you think?
I think they did a good job incorporating the music throughout it.
Yeah, that was really good.
It
was really clear.
Yeah, they set up a good story. I'd say the only thing would just be the grain, but honestly it kind of fits artistically.
Yeah, I agree. So I think it's an A.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Finley Dykes, and I'm a senior here at the CHS TV broadcasting program. An important aspect of our broadcast is that everybody gets to learn every job while broadcasting. That's important because in the real world you might be shooting a story and you have to shoot it, edit it, and write it, even though you're just one person. Now, to solve this problem, we have developed a highly technical solution. And we have a clip from when I think I was a freshman. Let's roll it.
At CHS TV, we have a policy that every student should learn every element of the live broadcast. This means that everyone anchors, reports, writes their own stories, and at least tries to learn every piece of equipment in the studio. We are not allowed to do the same job more than 4 times in a grading period. To keep all of this fair and square, we use the popsicle stick method. At the end of our morning meeting, Mr. Green pulls the sticks. This system keeps it completely random and fair for all of the students.
Thank you, Finley, and hello guys. My name is Bergen Gruskin and I'm a senior in CHS TV. We find that the key to holding our audience's attention with our shows is to mix up our announcements and have live guest appearances. Every show typically has 2, 3, or even 4 live guest appearances, and it also ensures that our show has a variety of content, but also it allows the student groups at our school to gain recognition. The teachers at our school are pretty flexible about allowing their students to leave class. Some teachers demand a shout out in compensation for letting the student leave class, and sometimes teachers even offer extra credit in response for a shout out. This just makes it all the more interesting for the audience and we love it. Let's take a look at some of our recent live guest appearances from our pre-COVID shows.
And you work with Anderson, and most people, we just see him on the show. We see him through our TVs, but you get to work with him and know him on a personal level. So how is he like in real life?
Anderson's a great guy. He's a very hard worker.
Good morning, Carlsbad. I am Shaylin Foley, and I'm here live with John Kerhofer, the co-executive producer of the hit TV show Survivor. John, tonight is the 39th season premiere of Survivor. A lot of hard work and effort have gone into tonight, so what are your thoughts and expectations?
I expect it to be awesome. I expect everybody to watch. It's going to be super fun.
Now we have JJ Meeser live in the studio with French Club. JJ, my French isn't too good, but que de neuf.
Bonjour, Carlsbad. Je m'appelle JJ Meeser pour CHS TV, and I'm here with Catherine and Kendra. So, Catherine, you're the president of French Club. What did I just say?
You just said, hi, Carlsbad. Your name is JJ for CHS TV.
Okay, and as you can see, my French isn't that good.
That sounds like a great deal. And Bella, can you tell me a little bit about when our next home game is?
Yeah, so our next home game is Friday, November 1st. It's the USA game. Make sure to get these really cool shirts.
For our next break in the announcements, we have students from around campus who have gone the extra mile to dress up. Ethan Lambert is standing by.
What's up, Carlsbad? I'm Ethan Lambert, here live in the jungle. Just a trick, we're still in the studio, but the treat here is all these lovely costumes featuring Ricky, Sydney, Presto B, Jake here on the ground, Grace.
Like for accomplishments, a lot of it is like inspiring younger kids to join STEM, especially younger girls, in order to get into it. And a lot of times it was that there weren't a lot of girls in the program when I was in it at the time, and that has so far improved a lot.
And what exactly do we have going on here?
So this is called the Diablo. It's a Chinese yo-yo. It shows that juggling club, you really don't need to just do juggling balls or pins. We've got all sorts of things that you can try it if you want.
Good morning, Carlsbad. I'm standing here with two members of Green Club, or should I say three, because I also have Monty right here. Actually, a little bit surprised. He's usually pretty camera shy, but he's facing the crowd and he's saying hello, I guess. Anyway, so Meg, I know that you guys...
Can you tell me what it is, what you're planning to do with it in the future?
So I'm on the all-girls team Robopuffs, and this is our robot right now. It will be done in probably the next couple weeks. We have our intake system right here, which takes in some blocks using these wheels.
All right, make sure you guys better become a unit, all right? And Tosh, how'd you guys do last year in season?
We did good. Well, we didn't have the turnout that we wanted in the semifinals.
All right, what's going on, Carlsbad? We're back, and I've just been watching Ellie kind of go at this canvas, and she's doing an amazing job. So, Ellie, what kind of made this creation? What kind of started it for you?
Well, I kind of just started lines, and then you just go from...
Hello, Student Television Network. My name is JJ Meeser, and I am a senior at CHS TV. One of the most important introductions to our show throughout the past few years has been the introduction of the DeGero system. The DeGero allows us to go live from anywhere we want in the world. Basically, it takes an HDMI or SDI signal from a camera and transmits it through 6 different cell phone carriers to get the highest quality video back to our control room. But we haven't really been able to access the control room during the pandemic, so what we have switched over to the DeGero app, which is just used all on an iPhone. You take all the video on the iPhone, and you can't even tell it's an iPhone, but it's still able to connect to the servers and send high quality video back to Mr. Green so he can put it into the show. Take a look at some of these clips.
Good morning, Carlsbad. My name is Holden Cisco, and I am standing here live in the CAC. So let's talk about some of the...
Good morning, Carlsbad. I'm Libby Lewis here with Addie and Cassie from ASB to talk about some ASB shirts that are being sold right now.
And we're parked right at these very special parking spots with numbers on the grounds. What is this for?
These are senior spots, so seniors...
Good morning, Carlsbad. I'm still down here at the beach. As you can see, it's turned into a really nice day. Sun's starting to poke through, wind staying off of it, surf's looking pretty fun. A little bit in between sets right now. But
Now, speaking of science, see this recycling bin right here? See all these trees, all this greenery around campus? Does any of that interest you? Well, I think we have a pretty interesting opportunity for you guys.
I'm Telekrish. I'm here live in the new gym, where from 9:20 to 11:35 this building is going to be packed with students here to watch the Sandy Hook Promise Assembly.
Now we have Miles Fessler live from the quad talking with the students that are striking against climate change. Miles?
We don't have a planet B.
What's up, Carlsbad? I'm Miles Fessler, and I'm here in the Carlsbad High School quad. Behind me is a rally going on about climate change. I'm with Green Club President Jamie Morgan. So I know you left your first period class early. Can you tell me why you did that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a worldwide thing.
Thank you, Holden. Holden, and good morning, Carlsbad. My name is Maddie Board, and I am out in the quad via cell phone where the Blizzard 4.0 is going to be happening today at lunch. There's going to be baked bear.
As some of you may know, we have been experiencing some very unusual weather here in Southern California over the past 2 weeks, so I'm here to give you a 5-day weather update.
The craft of journalism can take us all around the world. Today, Maddie Ward made the trek all the way to our nation's capital and is now coming to us via satellite. Maddie, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Nick, and good morning, Carlsbad. My name is Maddie Ward, and I'm here live in front of the White House in Washington, D.C. Over the next 3 days, there's going to be around 6,000 journalism students
gathered. With the fire and everything, how does this make you feel?
It makes me feel really sad because I can't believe somebody would want to hurt these chickens and their home. They've been living here ever since we got them, and it's just their home. So why would you want to burn it down? It's like, what did they ever do to you? Like, they're just poor little creatures. They're helpless. They're just small, and why would you want to hurt these little creatures? I feel really sad about this.
Hey, I feel you, dude. That's not right.
What's up, everybody? I'm Miles Fessler, and I'm an executive producer in CHS TV. Through a stroke of luck, we were introduced to an Oscar award-winning inventor about a year ago. Bill Warner won his first Oscar for inventing the Avid editing system in the 1990s. Bill has now teamed up with an Emmy award-winning visual effects pioneer, Elliot Mack, and together they have created a system called Lightcraft. Lightcraft allows camera motion while your talent is on a green screen. The background image pans and zooms with a live camera movement. The most recent version of Lightcraft is not yet available to the film world, and we currently have the only Lightcraft system in existence. Our task is to learn Lightcraft and use it in our daily show. We are working with engineers and software designers to provide feedback on Lightcraft's functionality. If you've ever watched The Mandalorian, the Lightcraft technology is similar, except that we use green screens instead of the LED screens seen on The Mandalorian.
What's up, STN? My name's Ben Hannon, and I'm a junior in CHS TV. So our Lightcraft system works by using an Ursa Mini 4K camera that watches the top of our studio to see these tracking targets. The camera then knows how it's moving, panning, or tilting, and the background moves simultaneously. We stand in front of a green screen background so that the computer can composite ourselves out and into the 3D set. We design these sets on Unreal Engine and have to pay special attention to lighting, color correction, and realism to make it look like we're really in these sets. Let's roll some clips from Lightcraft.
Hey Carlsbad, I'm Aaron Harris alongside Elliot Mack, and I know you're the inventor of Lightcraft Technologies, and although it may look like we're in a futuristic train station maybe sometime in 2050, we're actually just in a green studio somewhere in LA. So I know you invented this. How'd you come up with the idea?
Well, the idea came out of a personal desire. I got interested in movies and visual effects, and I sat down, learned some visual effects, and realized most of visual effects was incredibly tedious, just enormous amounts of work to do small things. And I realized, wait, if we could actually build a system to automate this, then you could actually really enable a lot of creative work without all the tedious repetition that is traditional visual.
Technology called Lightcraft, so this is a game changer.
Good morning, Carlsbad. It is a lovely Wednesday morning, and as you can see, also very spooky, and that's because we're using our Lightcraft technology to make it seem.
Good morning, Carlsbad. To start off our show today, we have a story on Jack Jones, a water polo player,
and that means it's going to be around waist to shoulder high. And then right over here, we're going to be having our weather, so that means on Monday we're going to be having a high of 62 and a low of 48.
My name is JJ Meeser. We're hanging out in our new set for Lightcraft. I'm here with Van Amberger. So as you can see, Van, this is our music studio room made especially for Jake Watts. This took about 8 hours to make, but what do you think about all this Lightcraft stuff?
Well, initial thoughts when I first walked into the room, it's actually like astounding.
Good morning, Carlsbad. I'm Zach Metzger, here with a special sports edition of CHS TV, and I'm live here with my guest, Miles Fessler, and it seems that we've landed sometime in the 1940s. Where are we?
We're not totally sure right now once we got off of our time travel machine. We're in an old abandoned basketball court somewhere in an old school.
It's on the market right now for about $500,000.
It's a little pricey. What happened here?
There was a little incident. It's not that big of a deal.
It's nothing that you need to concern yourself with.
So
We're going to have Solomon live on the Magic Window, and then Mia live with men's varsity basketball.
Today is a beautiful Monday morning, and we have a great show planned for you today. To start off the show, we have a story on Mateo, who spends most of his day at the gym.
There we go. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Lancers. It's a lovely Tuesday, and we have a great show planned for you.
That's right. To start off our show, we're going to have a story on Madison, a basketball player here at CHS. We also have CHS.
You guys are probably wondering why we're here in the Dagobah system. Well, we were waiting for the Jedi Knights of the Loud Crowd to talk about their basketball game tonight. And finally, we'll be having some El Camino students coming on live.
So what was your first thought when you walked in the doors here?
It's nice. You know, you got all the computers in there. You got the green screens. I was digging it.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on, Amani, and I'm going to send it back to the desk.
Good morning, Carlsbad.
Am I good?
Back in the day, school looked a lot like this. 50 years ago, there was no internet or personal computers. Forget Wi-Fi, YouTube, or Netflix. Life was a lot simpler back then. Today, however, we have a thing called social media. Technology truly has evolved. You can always send us story ideas or keep up to date on school events by following our Instagram or Twitter, @CHSTV Worldwide. And who knows when this world becomes our reality.
What's up, Carlsbad? I'm Miles Fessler, and I'm here with Mateo, who you just saw the story on. So, Mateo, how did you get started in weightlifting?
So, originally I started...
2 minutes.
Wow, the future is unbelievable. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. Hi, I'm Zach Metzger. CHSTV strives to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to technology. Coming soon to our daily live broadcasts is a revolutionary technology called Lightcraft, and it is truly out of this world. Thanks for watching CHSTV, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Hello, S10. My name is Broxter Slomiles. I'm currently a junior at Carlsbad High School, and one of the things about our program is that it is very expensive to run. Now, in order to combat those costs, we run our live stream program, which we have numerous ads throughout our streams. Some of them are student produced. Some of them are from our sponsors like GoPro. GoPro is our main sponsor. We're very happy to be with them. Another thing about our live stream program is that we have a multi-camera setup with an electronic scoreboard, and we have 2 live commentators. Additionally, we have a new graphics set system for our instant replay from Graphics Outfitters, which we got last year. They're from Carlsbad, California. We're very happy to be with them. And they run the graphics and instant replay for ESPN, which is very cool too. And all these things we're very thankful for, and we hope to continue to make our live stream program the best it possibly can be.
Hello, my name is Yohan Deraika, and I'm a junior here at CHS. So during our live shows, we like to stay away from static shots and instead use more moving shots when we can, because we feel it allows for a more interesting show. And to do this, we can use things like our modified Ronin-esque camera system, which allows us to get fluid and dynamic moving shots during the live show. And another thing we can use is our fly cam, which is very important to us as it allows us to get dolly and steady cam-like shots without actually laying down PVC pipes or a large steady cam system.
How's it going? My name's Aiden Mooney, and as Johan was just saying, we could take our fly cam anywhere. It's the most versatile camera in the studio, in my opinion. It's got the Teradek. We could take that thing miles away from the studio. It'll still pick up clean signal. We've got the runner nest to provide the steady shot. It's the whole point of the steady cam. Then we've got the Handycam, the Sony Handycam on top. So we could take this camera anywhere in the studio. We film anchors on it. We film live segments on it. We film openers, closers, whatever. Whenever you want to get a dolly or a pan shot, you can use the Steadicam. We keep it right there in the studio in case we change our mind and want to switch something up. We could always use it.
Carlsbad is a chilly Tuesday morning, but hang in there. We only have 2 more days until break. Nick, what's in the show?
Today on the show, we're going to be having Olivia.
January 31st, we're a month into 2018, and we have a great show planned for you.
TV.
With 3 Lucha Libre gift cards. Those are for you.
Marching band, the marching part of it.
To a place where waves still break. Then, Michael Cruz is on the Magic Window to discuss the future.
Good morning, Carlsbad. It is Thursday, November 21st, and to start our first show, we have Tyler at the Magic Window, as well as Maddie Ward in.
We've got a great show planned for you. Bergen, what's up?
We're going to have a story in the spirit of Halloween.
Oh no, just anything I can.
Alright, well, you heard it here. Be there, go out and support your Carlsbad varsity basketball team.
Great show planned for you today. But before we get it started, we're going to give a special shout out to Mr. Hendricks here, who won the Jeff Award yesterday. Congrats.
Hi guys, my name is McKenna Rangel, and I'm a senior in CHS-TV. Throughout my years in this program, we've been lucky enough to work with a Carlsbad-based company called Internology. Now, Internology designed the software that CNN uses for their giant magic wall. The software engineer who designed their magic wall software wrote a special program for our show, and we received a grant to purchase our Magic Window video display, which is essentially a giant 4K iPad. In a lot of ways, the Magic Window has been a game changer for us. We use it in every broadcast, and students are scheduled in advance to prepare their Magic Window presentation. Each student chooses their own topic and creates a 45 to 60-second segment for each show. We are always looking for ways to tell stories better, and the Magic Window is just another way we get to do that. If you look through our broadcasts, you will see topics on the Magic Window range from breaking news to a lot lighter content. Let's take a look at some sample Magic Window segments.
Bergen live on the Magic Window to talk about Kaboo. Bergen, what's up?
Good morning, Carlsbad. My name is Bergen Gruskin, and I'm standing here live at the Magic Window to talk to you guys about the Kaboo 2019 festival that is going on all this weekend at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. The festival is starting today at 2 p.m.
This event was actually scheduled for Friday, September 20th, which is today. So due to all the attention that this event gained, the creator decided to take advantage of it and schedule a music festival for the same weekend in a nearby town.
So here we have some THC cartridges which contain marijuana, and they can initially really hurt your lungs. Here we have another image, but we also have Juul pods. So Juul currently
1968 and are made by the same company that produces Nutella and the Kinder chocolates. If you didn't know, all the Tic Tac containers have this little like lip.
1914 to 1918, World War I occurred. Obviously, tons of soldiers' lives were lost on both sides between the Triple Alliance, France, and Russia, and that was a tragic event. Following that, the Great Depression occurred throughout the
8 fire personnel and 15 medical personnel on scene, and even though there were multiple roof collapses and the heavy fire we can see here, there were no injuries reported, and the fire is currently under investigation by the San Diego Sheriff's Office and Encinitas Fire Department.
So he met with a bagman in a parking lot. He delivered him the money. He swore on his daughter's life that he would commit to Ole Miss the next day. He switched, committed to Mississippi State. There's nothing that the school can do about this because they can't.
Hello STN, I'm Lily O'Connell. Let's be honest, finding funding for a $6,000 to $7,000 touchscreen monitor is so unrealistic. This clip is from one of our middle school feeder programs where Mr. Green and his students built a low-cost Magic Window using a $500 TV from Costco and a remote control. It works great, and students are learning how to tell stories using the same technology concept. It doesn't have all the features of a true touchscreen system, but it does work. Here's a Magic Window on a budget.
My name is Kane Evans. I'm on the Magic Window. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a few tips on how to sleep better. Alright, so we all know when we come to school and we haven't slept good, it's just terrible. You're all groggy and you just can't do anything. On to Gabriel Medina. He's been one of the front runners for the past 3 or 4 years, can throw airs, do huge carves, and just get barreled so well. Finally, in 3rd place, this is Jordy Smith.
And really whatever you want. And my next idea is V-Bucks. If you like Fortnite, why not get some V-Bucks? They go from $10 to $100, so it depends on what's in your price range, but they can...
Seabirds and animals dying each year. Talking more about plastic water bottles, I learned that it is overflowing our...
I'm Ethan Lambert, a senior at CHS and a 6-year broadcaster. I'm here to talk to you today about our video wall. 2 years ago, we installed 4 55-inch TV screens in a 2x2 array. A multiplexer divides the video into 4 segments, and it is all powered by an older MacBook Pro. We use the video wall as a backdrop for live interviews, as a replacement for traditional green screen in a weather forecast, and even to view replays and analyze them after a big game. The 4 TVs are mounted on a wall that angles 5% downwards in order to avoid a glare from the overhead studio lights. Let's take a look at the video wall in action.
The polar vortex has been freezing the Midwest, and it's led to something pretty darn cool. Because you see, it's gotten so incredibly cold that water now just sort of instantly vaporizes the moment that it hits the air. You see, this guy, the moment it leaves the tip of the hose, boom, you got some nice water vapor. And it looks a little bit like snow, but it isn't quite falling to the ground, so it's basically just vapor. Now, this guy here wants to do an interesting demonstration. You can see here, he's filling up a pot with water and he boils it just as a way to demonstrate how cold it is. And if you didn't catch at the beginning of the video, it is -25 degrees out. Boom, some nice GoPro shots there. And look at that. You can already see snow falling down, and yes.
What's up, STN? My name's Caden Barnes, and I'm a junior in the CHS TV program. A few minutes ago, we talked to you about our flycam and smooth camera shots. Just a few weeks ago, we began experimenting with another technology that has changed the way we use our crane camera system in the studio. We used to struggle with the joystick system, trying to track the camera onto an anchor while the camera was panning or tilting. It was almost impossible to get a perfect shot. A few weeks ago, we attached a Ronin-esque gimbal to the top of our crane. Attached to the camera mounted to the Ronin, we attach an iPhone. Using the Ronin app on the iPhone as a tracking device, we can now get near perfect crane shots. Essentially, you draw a box around the target you want to track, and the iPhone does the hard work. It's so accurate that the tracker will react to an anchor's movement, no matter how subtle.
Hi, my name is Rachel Sacken. I'm a senior in CHS TV, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about our annual showcase event. So our annual showcase event is basically our own little CHS TV film festival. We rent out a new state-of-the-art theater, and we show our community all the stuff that we've been working on in the past year. We didn't plan on it being a fundraiser, but we brought in an auctioneer who auctioned off a bunch of cool prizes, like there's indoor skydiving, there's a flight simulator, there's a bunch of cool stuff. We also had some video messages from some pretty well-known journalists from CNN as well as our local stations, and we played those on the big screen. The showcase is a great way to just look back on the past year and show the community everything you've been working on. And it's also a great way to get feedback from your audience. So here's a clip of our last showcase, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Throughout the night, we will hear from an impressive group of professional broadcast journalists. CNN anchors Chris Cuomo, Brooke Baldwin, and John Berman have sent personal greetings and candid words of advice. Also sending best wishes from San Diego's NBC7 are Rory Devine and Joe Little. And we'll end the show this evening with a special message to Carlsbad's broadcasting students from perhaps the best feature story reporter in America, Steve Hartman. Once again, thank you for joining us.
Hello, I'm Michael Cruz, and on behalf of all the broadcasting students in Carlsbad.
Hi, I'm Tommy Kelly, and I'm a junior. When we're producing our live shows in the studio, sometimes we like to bring in live performers. The audience really enjoys the break. We typically bring in these live performers on Friday when we're trying to loosen up the show a little bit. It's a fun challenge for us to try to mic up vocals and instruments while shooting a live band with multiple cameras. Usually, the bands consist of students that go to our school, but don't be afraid to ask any local up-and-coming bands to come onto your show. You'd be surprised how many are willing to perform in a live TV setting. We also add a live studio audience into the mix sometimes. It's amazing how much a live audience contributes to the energy level in the show. Here is a sample of some live performances on our broadcast.
Mistletoe, oh, where you can see every couple tries to stop.
Snuck out late again to catch a movie with a friend. It turns out it was consent. Oh, now I'm barred. The wind's getting on. I stay up too late. No, I don't have to lie. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Holden Cisco, and I've been a part of the program for over 5 years now. In California, we are not allowed to have commercials on air, so we have sponsors that we call sponsored awards. How it works is we find a local business, such as a restaurant, to provide us with gift cards that we then give to Athletes of the Week, Artists of the Week, and so on after we produce a piece on them. The business's name is mentioned on a lower third graphic, which increases the traffic flow into their business. For us, we ask for an additional donation to cover our costs. Last year, we introduced Twitter polls that increase the outreach of our local sponsors. An example of this would be the GoPro Player of the Game Twitter poll. Let's take a look at what these sponsor awards look like.
What's going on, Carlsbad? I'm Solomon Williams here with the Knockout Pizza Players of the Game from last Friday against Cathedral, nominated by Coach Mack. So Zach, I know the game was super tight game, 21-20. What were the tensions like during the game?
Stakes were very high up against Cathedral, a lot of back and forth action.
So Jalen, you're this week's Knockout Pizza Athlete of the Week due to your amazing performance against Coronado High School. 36 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists is a pretty amazing stat line. What's it like playing at such a high level and having such an impact in the game?
Just gives us a lot of confidence, and I have to thank my teammates and the coaches, and definitely Mr. Ogden in period 1.
What's up, Carlsbad? I'm Johan Dereka, and I'm here with the Knockout Pizza Athlete of the Week, Madison Hune. So Madison, here on varsity girls basketball, you have a 17-point average. How do you keep that high of a point average?
I'm always getting in the gym with my teammates on and off on the off season.
All right, and then I also hear you have 65 3-points in just 16 games, which breaks the CHS 3-point record.
What's breaking the show? We have Eli Benson live with the Athletes of the Week. What's up, Eli?
Good morning, Carlsbad. I'm here live with your Knockout Pizza Athletes of the Week. Lexi, how's your season been going so far?
We've been having a pretty good season.
Last year, for the third year in a row, CHS TV partnered up with an STN school to bring us the Broadcasting Exchange program. The school this year was Alpharetta High School in Alpharetta, Georgia, and Van Eberger was able to come out and visit me and live with me for a whole week and learn about CHS TV. The following week, I went out to Atlanta, Georgia, and I got to be on the morning show and learn all about it, only to bring all of those good lessons back to CHS TV. Shout out to Van. I would like to add that these trips were school board approved, and now here's some highlights from our trip.
Who am I? So last August, I made this video, and Carlsbad reached out to me and said, we want you to participate in the student exchange program. And I was really excited about it, and I was like, all right, let's do this. So I got to go to California, and let's do this thing. All right, this is JJ.
I'll be living with JJ for the next 2 weeks of my life, experiencing Carlsbad while having the time of my life.
And then we get in the pool and just kind of zone in and get ready.
That's awesome to hear. And I forgot. What is the...
A week later, we headed over to Atlanta, Georgia, so I can experience Alpharetta High School.
Pickup lines, I don't know what park this is, but we're here with JJ's from California. Experience of being in another culture, another school, learning and seeing new things is possibly one of the coolest things one could ever imagine. Best part about it, I made a best friend in the process.
The connections that STN have given us are invaluable, and I will truly cherish them for the rest of my life.
Thanks again for coming to the Daily Grind. We've been giving this workshop for almost 20 years, and we look forward to it each year because it challenges us to try new things and try to be innovative so that we always have something new to share with you. We really hope we have given you some ideas.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns at all, or would love to share with us what you guys are doing with your shows, we'd love to talk to you informally right now. We should have some students standing by in a Zoom meeting ready to answer any of your questions. Thanks again for tuning in.